And I'm pretty sure that we've already got this one.
Good morning, it is 10 a.m. on Friday, September 20th, 2024. Call this meeting of Wichita County Commissioners Court to order. Let's go to item number 1, which is discuss and review general maintenance projects and work orders. Chief, did you draw the short straw today?
I did, and I didn't actually, I don't know what they're doing. I know about the overtime and how many people we got coming, but.
Okay, we'll get to that in a second. Lots of short, anyone have any questions on that detailed report? Somebody set you up to fail.
No. I'm all right with it.
All right, we'll, I'll send an email to Chief Rutledge if he's got anything he can give it to. That's on Tuesday. Okay, item number 2 is receive status report on salaries and overtime. Everyone should have that in your inboxes. There are 2 different emails.
Do we need both of them?
Yes, sir.
We do, okay. Man, it gets larger and larger. Looking for the other.
So the other one is just a single employee, and I will tell the court that we had an issue with the time clock export for one of our employees, and their payroll did not come out of the time clock correctly, didn't export, so we found out after we issued payroll that their overtime didn't come out, and we got that corrected immediately and got them paid.
Probably. Thank
Yes,
you.
sir.
I appreciate it. That's mine.
It's all Wilmer and James.
We like to pay our employees properly.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
And so do they. Call Judge Hughes if no one knows this. They're all aware of any special consideration why.
Yes.
Okay.
So there was 19 hours, correct me if I'm wrong, 19 hours added that was just a data entry error on their behalf, and they added it while we were doing the payroll processing, and it did not get caught. They've already been made aware, and it will be deducted from the next paycheck at the time and a half.
Okay.
Hey, Judge, would you pull your mic back to you?
No. Thank you, Brendan. Gone a couple of weeks without having to be reminded about that.
We just thought Commissioner Kincannon wanted to make sure
It's got 2 microphones. So will that be reflected? Will it just be a lower hours amount on the next payroll? Okay. It won't be a negative.
It won't be a negative check. No.
Okay.
So I was made aware earlier this week that we had an employee that had correctly filled out their time clock with leave without pay, but how it got coded was 8 hours leave without pay, but they put the 8 hours in, and they got actually, I believe they got paid for it.
Okay. Do you know?
Yeah. I spoke to the department head and we fixed the misunderstanding in that sort of time entry.
Okay.
And that individual employee wrote a check back to the county, and we're going to void.
Is that problematic across the county, or with time clock, or is it something that we need to fix on the time clock entry where we don't have to catch it?
I think it was just a misunderstanding with regard to how to input that particular code in
Okay.
without time.
Yeah.
and I walked the department head through a proper entry without entering actual hours.
Okay,
So that shouldn't be a problem
So-
now, and it hasn't been a problem in the past either.
okay. I guess we're probably talking about two separate incidents because there's not a department head over this department that I'm aware of.
I'm sorry?
Well, I think we may be talking about two completely separate incidents.
What department is it?
Indigent health,
I'm not aware of that one.
okay. No, I visited with Van about it earlier this week, and,
No, sir, the one I'm talking about is in county clerk.
okay. So we may have a coding issue with how employees are putting it in, how it's being received by their time manager. Because if the employee is thinking they're putting 8 hours, leave without pay, and that's what they're checking, leave without pay, 8 hours, and the time manager's saying, okay, I took 8 hours leave without pay, then it's going to y'all as 8 hours
Right.
pay. So we may need to look at either training or how that is coded into the system.
Yeah, we'll investigate that one, and then we'll look at sending out like a mass kind of just
Yeah, 'cause if
informal.
that's two incidents.
Hey, may I say something?
Yeah.
It's my office on the first incident he's talking about.
Okay,
That initially, when we used to do the FMLA into the time clock, we didn't add any hours. So
Yeah.
if that person had 32 hours, we just wouldn't put anything else for the
Yeah.
remaining 8 hours. Well, it changed with it, I forgot what auditor it was, it might have been a while back. They wanted us to account for the missing time.
uh-huh,
So when you put it in, it'll say 8 hours, and I changed it to 0 pay, thinking they're
Yeah.
gonna look at the pay, no pay for those 8 hours.
right,
But the way they look at it, they look at the hours only, they don't look at the 0 pay. So in
Right.
turn, you gotta put in 0 hours and 0 pay.
right.
So that's where the confusion was, so it was just not knowing how to enter it into time clock.
Yeah, but if it's happened twice, it's probably happened more than that, and we need
Just to
need
let
some
you,
training or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm
no,
not saying anyone's doing anything wrong, it's just, there's something that's amiss in the system that we need to
Right.
correct.
right,
We'll
and
get
the
that.
employees don't put it in, it's the one that's entering into time clock would actually put in
Right.
the time that's.
I don't think employees or the time managers or anyone's doing anything on purpose to
Right.
defraud the system.
No, we'll
It's-
get with Van and get that incident
Right.
fixed, and then we will, come up with just kind of brief, how to do it, and
Okay.
send that out to everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
On Department 560, total holiday hours, this is page 13. Can we row C there in the 912 column? Is that the right amount of holiday hours, or is that a data entry? It says 8,800. looks like from the other spreadsheet, that is the cost. Do you see what I'm talking about?
Yes. You are correct, Judge, that is a data entry. error.
Okay.
That's the cost, not the
That's
hours
the cost,
itself.
not the hours, okay.
$8,800 gonna cost some money.
That's a lot of
And that,
hours.
and it wasn't, because the rest of the data was in line, that's why it jumped out
Yeah.
to me. We're gonna have a bunch of holiday periods coming up here in the rest of the year too.
Mhm.
Chief, on those numbers that you've got, you wanna share them with us?
And we got, as of today, we have 19 openings in the jail. Monday, we'll have 8 starting, so that'll lessen that number to 11. And then we have 4 more testing today, which hopefully, if all that goes well and backgrounds come back good, there'll be 4 more we can put in the deal. So, you know, after those 8 start, that puts us about where we've run most of the year with 11, 12 openings.
Okay.
So, hopefully with a little luck, we can get a few more in there. I've only had 1 quit in the past 2 weeks, so.
Harder times get, the more employees we'll get.
Yeah. And have you and Chief Rutledge, have y'all already started looking for the rest of the year, these last 3 months on savings and other portions of the budget
sir.
for, okay, y'all are tracking that to
Yes,
try
sir,
to
we
get
have,
it?
we have plans that we've put in place.
Okay, thank you. We're still looking?
I'm good. I'm good.
Good to go.
Jeff, you still looking?
I'm good.
Good, okay. Any other questions on that item? All right. Item number 3 is review and discuss regular bills. I believe those came through yesterday at 9:28 a.m. Were y'all able to pull up Munis in here?
Mhm.
Yes, sir. You need me to look up something for you?
Maybe. It's giving me the site can't be reached message. I'm just curious, the Archer City Veterinarian, I see the drug dog stuff, but then there's also two that are general. I was wondering what those were being charged to.
They should, they'll be charged at 561.3303, which
Okay.
is the drug dog line. It's
Oh.
the other one, one
They
of the
ran out of
dogs goes,
material.
gets paid from the detention improvement fund. So it gets paid from a due from other line because they cut a check back to us for payment.
Okay.
They had
The
to
other
stop,
dogs
they
do
didn't
not, they
finish.
get paid from
They got
560.33.
one side.
Okay.
The drug dog line.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I couldn't get it.
What
They had to haul it
was
to
the
Rock.
Enterprise FM Trust for 200?
That's y'all's enterprise bill for,
Four.
maintaining, it was mainly for the vehicles, the new
Yeah.
3 vehicles.
3 or 4
And then the
vehicles.
maintenance of the other vehicles.
Yeah.
That's that Nick came and did enterprise for you guys.
But we're paying, we're not financing those, those are
No, those
paid
are,
out.
Yeah,
those
were
are paying
paid outright.
outright for 3 cars, and I think, I may get this wrong, $17,000.
Couldn't get the signs till this morning.
The repairs and maintenance, or 11,000, I can't remember which.
Yeah, this one, there's two different components of that. One was the payment of vehicles up front. The other one was we had a number of fairly large repair bills that came through.
Flow through them.
Yeah.
What was the outcome of Goodyear?
We're gonna continue to use Goodyear because the prices through enterprise are way higher.
Pretty much
We get
double.
like a government rate. The guy kept told me it's like double tires if we do the enterprise.
Yeah.
So you guys can use Goodyear for, I mean, y'all already did, but they're gonna use Goodyear for everything.
We got them paid.
Yes, they're paid
so
on
that-
this.
So that we're
Yes.
back to the regular relationship.
But it looks good.
Yes,
But
it's
we,
just a misunderstanding. but
Goodyear
between-
is not a vendor of Enterprise then?
They do have accounts with them, but their rates are much higher for business than ours being a government.
I see.
So as we're paying some of the people through enterprise, we will not be doing that with Goodyear.
Okay. What did those cars, Patrick, what did they come in priced as? Did you see those? I mean, were they,
For next year's lot or this year?
well, for, like in this 202,000 we paid them, the cost of a vehicle, was it, did you notice some difference as to what you had been pricing or?
No, sir, it's pretty in line with the quote that we had.
I feel like
You tell
most,
me they're gonna be about $3,500 more next year.
so it's the
some of them were under the original purchase order, I think, slightly.
Really?
Yeah.
was that 5?
Let me go. That's what I looked at mine a while ago and I was like,
Brendan, there's no reason Enos would be kicking back.
Shouldn't be on
Wireless
I'm
hotspot.
on it right now. Wait,
Okay.
you're on a hotspot? You should be on the courthouse network.
That-
Yeah, the
that may be-
hotspot could kick back.
Okay, that's probably my issue.
they're fighting each other for service on your computer.
The Lipscomb Chevrolet, they don't flow through Enterprise now? They should?
It depends on if the vehicle's on there or not. So, I mean, if their vehicle is currently being maintained by Enterprise, then yes, but if that vehicle's not on there, then no, we're gonna pay them for it.
Do we have that both going on? We have ins and outs?
We are finding that some of our vehicles are not in Enterprise's inventory. And as the vendors are letting me know, as well as the deputies, and I'm going through and finding those vehicles on our inventory and I'm entering them. Then I have to request that they put them on the maintenance.
Okay.
But yeah, from time to time, we'll have an outlier that hadn't been in for maintenance. or
But that's a
whatever
good
for
way
while,
to
but-
catch them, I guess.
Yes.
So,
So yeah, you might have to pay Lipscomb this time for that vehicle, but the next time it goes, it'll go through Enterprise.
Quick question, Matt. On
Yes.
that email you sent about the $20,000 coming from the precincts, are you gonna take that certain line item? Is it gonna come out of contingencies, or how are you gonna do that?
Right now, it's just coming out of a transfer line item, and it's purely budget. It's not cash or anything. It's just reducing the budget and basically putting the budget placeholder over to the joint fund. And then when we get to year end, we true up everybody's budget, and I will say, like, for interest, there was no funds budgeted for interest revenue, and y'all, I mean, everyone is experiencing very large interest returns on your bank balances. And so we will move revenue budget over there, and that'll help offset some of those costs, and we'll also true up precinct 5.
So you're not gonna take it out of the actual line item budget? Okay. I'm just curious about how you're gonna do that, so I could, for me, keeping up with my budget to see what my actual expenses were, I was curious where that was gonna come from.
Right, yeah, it's just coming out of your budget line right now, but it's not an actual expenditure towards your department.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
And we're anticipating, Matt, this year, a potential influx of revenue to precinct 5 from the sale of equipment, which is 2 dump trucks and a distributor, to be between $500,000 and $600,000.
Yes, sir.
Coming
So
back to-
when that comes in, we'll recognize that revenue, and we'll also recognize the budget for that revenue, and that's gonna put probably, not probably, but guarantee you that precinct 5 is probably going to have net income when you look at the budget compared to the year-to-date expenditures.
We should see a lot of that coming through in the next 4 to 6 weeks, shouldn't we?
Mhm.
Hope. That dump truck ain't moving too well.
Distributor appears to be.
Yeah. Dump truck's cheap enough that I'd like to buy it. Did y'all ever get any answer back on the light placements? Haven't got anything from them yet?
So,
Well, you can answer it if you, I can.
go ahead, Judge.
So Matt followed up immediately, sent an email out Tuesday afternoon, and they were working through Direct Energy, and then Direct Energy said they didn't have it, so we needed to work through Encore. Gordon called me on Wednesday, and I neglected until this morning, just before court, to email Matt to let him know what they were looking for over there. So
Okay.
So we're pulling the direct energy bills on our side and then sending them back to him, and then they'll get us all that information.
And Mick, there is some of those that are going to be unobtainable. I mean, the
Well, they shouldn't get
addresses
paid for 'em
are
if they
guard,
don't have one. They're
are
not
at guard lights, unless we turn them all back off, unless we turn them all off. There are some of them that denote a road, but Encore's, I was telling Jim, like I had a meter on 367 that's identified as 0 FM 367. Well, you know,
We need to true it all up.
No, they should be able to give us a map of each coordinate for each
yeah,
one.
and maybe they
But-
can map it. Yeah, that might be
Well,
beneficial.
I say if they can't give us a map, we can't give them any money.
Well,
It's easy enough.
yeah, but I think that unless we, to really update it, we're gonna have to cancel those accounts and reestablish them in order to, like, on mine, we couldn't find, this was pretty good while back, 8 years ago or so, I did Burnett Park. Well, Gordon couldn't find it. He could not find where there was ever a guard light because it didn't have any information associated with it. So we went in, after they physically went out there and identified it, then we put information in there that says Burnett Park. So going forward, we know, what is what, but I looked at some of those and it said at guard light, at guardrail. So,
Yeah. Well, we get the best list we've got, and then we can do a night inventory.
But I just remember Judge Gossam telling me a long time ago that Mark, when he was at Precinct 1, he put a bunch out towards Pecan Way
Road.
They're
Drive
probably
and
still
River
paying for it.
Road. Now that's converted over to Mickey. But I just remember the citizens got together and wanted there were some curves and things that were causing the issue.
Well, we'll see. I mean,
Yes,
Matt's working on it.
Right.
And we'll see what we get back from him and then go from
They
there.
all have that EDC number on
Right.
them on the direct energy bill, so I don't know why they wouldn't be able to locate them with all that information and get it.
It should be on their master map.
It's just like our water bills, they're not labeled where you can clearly tell where they come from because they give them these goofy names and they won't change it.
Yeah.
But I met with the water department and I know where every single, he took me to every water meter for the county. And I know where every one of them are.
Yeah.
So I know we got one disconnected that was over with the sheriff's office. It was an old one that we should have had done before, but, you know, it's gonna be the same with this. It's just harder because direct energy won't do it. They're making you go through the loan for it.
Right.
And then we have to do the gas after that.
Because there's no
Wow.
telling what we're paying for that we're not actually receiving.
Yeah, I bet gas is even gonna be stranger
Yeah.
because of a lot of old changes that we probably.
So I appreciate any effort on that. It's just-
Yeah.
And then we do need to move it out of the individual precincts and move it into general.
And we have
Or at least in one.
the rate,
I think I've got them all. That's the problem.
the rate for
Used to have 3
direct,
different line
we go
items for
into a
it.
new rate schedule next year, right? And that carries us all the way to 30?
I think so.
I believe that's correct.
Yeah, we're looking at this recently. Stretches out for some time.
And it's a good rate.
It is a good rate. When, I forget his name, kind of the energy broker guy who came and presented to us, and he came and talked to me earlier this year, and we sent him back what we had, because he was gonna compare, and he's like, I can't touch those rates, they're
Well,
excellent, so.
and that came, Judge, a lot of that was because, Margaret, who were we with that got bought out by Direct? There was they lost the Reliant.
Yeah, Reliant.
And then they got acquired by Direct and so they kept it on, but the bid was based on the nuclear power plant and they were trying to establish guaranteed revenue towards it, and that's why they sucked us in and we just lucked out there, really
How
did.
many years we locked on that? 10?
Yeah, at the time, I think it was.
Yeah, that'd be the time frame, Mark.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and it's great.
Wish I was that.
Yeah,
Some
that's one of those rather be lucky than good moments.
Mm-hmm.
I'm used to seeing huge LPPF amounts.
So this is actually because the HHSC, Health and
Health and Human Services
yeah.
Commission.
They actually made a EFT wrong, and so it's supposed to go to our general operating account, and instead it got deposited in our LPPF account,
Okay,
and so this is just correcting that revenue.
okay. Yes, typically those are 7
Yeah.
digits.
Right.
Yep.
As part of the budget drew up, Matt, you were talking about, so y'all will wait till the end of the year to do that across departments. So, because we'll have some lines that are over budget, but the whole department amount is under by a ton. At that time, is that when y'all true up all of those, or do you even worry about that level of?
So we don't do a line item budget anymore. We do major categories. So that would be your salary and benefits, your supplies, and then your operating expenditures or your capital expenditures. So at that time, we will only make sure that the major categories are not
Categories are
deficit.
good, okay.
Margaret, why do we, on my gas tickets, why do we do those individually? Do they not send us a statement?
They do not, and they all have their own individual invoice number on it. That's the only
Okay.
way to try to catch if somehow we get a duplicate that comes in. Most of yours come in on that thermal paper, but every
Uh-huh.
once in a while you guys get some from them that we
That's
get
a
the pink
ticket.
copy. So if we got the white copy and the pink copy and we didn't do the individual invoice numbers that they put on them, then we wouldn't catch it.
Okay.
You good?
I'm good.
You good? Anyone have any other questions, comments for the good of the body? Okay. It's 10:31. Court is adjourned.